How's it going, guys? Name's KGO, or Kev, as you probably know, and I am making this video because there is news, potentially a new Danganronpa game. Danganronpa's creator Kazutaka Kodaka was interviewed by the Japanese gaming magazine Famitsu, celebrating the series' 10th anniversary, in which he states that a new Danganronpa game is in the realm of possibilities. It's not an outright confirmation of a new game, there's nothing concrete, of course, but it does confirm that the series is still alive, and that there is potential for new games coming in the near future. So yeah, guys, exciting news. We might be getting a new Danganronpa game, just hopefully sometime in the near future. Like Ultra Despair Girls 2 or Danganronpa Go-Karting, the games every Danganronpa fan wants. While Kodaka did leave Spike Chunsoft, he is still down with getting involved and having someone else lead the project. For possible creators, he name-drops Kotaro Uchikoshi, the man, the myth, the legend of Zero Escape and Isamium fame, who is no stranger, of course, to murder mystery-type games, and at the helm would be absolutely fantastic. Play Zero Escape. And if not Uchikoshi, then Epic Games makes the next Danganronpa. Or Todd Howard.
It just works.
With how much the series has blown up in popularity as of late, it would be stupid to not continue the franchise, obviously. And in all, hopefully this is a sign of good things to come for the future of Danganronpa. With a new Danganronpa game potentially on the horizon, I'm gonna be going into some things I would like to see for the next Danganronpa game. I'm gonna try to keep it as brief as possible because I could honestly talk about this for hours on end, guys. But yeah, with all that said, here are some of my hopes for the next installment in Danganronpa. Let's get into it. First and foremost, what I would like for the next Danganronpa is a good character-driven story with consistently satisfying mysteries and plot twists all throughout. What a twist! I don't think I'd be wrong in assuming what the majority of Danganronpa fans enjoy the series for is its colorful cast of eccentric characters. I'm already seeing people in my Discord prepping themselves for new characters to Twitch moderator for. It's all about the characters, y'all. Their designs, their personalities, the interactions with them, and of course, their deaths. The deaths that cause all the turmoil and heartbreak, they're super emotionally compelling. But the narrative and the stories themselves, while Danganronpa is known for plot, more so Mu Iruma plot, Danganronpa is for sure solid on the character side of things, but a lot of mysteries and plot points often leave much to be desired. And again, the main important word here is consistency, which Danganronpa isn't the best at, unfortunately. Danganronpa's highs are really, really enjoyable. Its lows, though, are really, really low, but are saved by the character's combined charisma, which is why having Uchikoshi on board would be a damn good decision. Constructing and telling good mysteries and enthralling narratives is where his skill set lies, and would more or less guarantee that the project will have interesting ideas and more. Bottom line, I would just want a really good story that also has really engaging characters, fleshed out and more, that also doesn't rely on cliches and a cop-out ending. Shoutouts to V3. God damn it. What I would want for Danganronpa as well is for them to not play it safe. After Danganronpa 1, they sort of repeated a lot of the same story elements over and over again to the point where, you kind of knew what to expect going into the next games, and it really just kind of took away a lot of the suspense in a way. Up to now, Danganronpa has this structure in how its chapters are set up to where it becomes pretty easy to predict the order of the character's deaths. Chapter 1, character most familiar to you, / the one you think is gonna have a lot of focus, dies first. The big character dies in Chapter 4, double murder for 3. It's formulaic, and while cool the first time around, it just becomes disappointing deja vu for people who've experienced everything. When I was playing through V3, I went into it hoping for them to throw some good curveballs death-wise my way, and, not just go for the most obvious deaths. They went with the most obvious deaths. And while subverting expectations is a big meme nowadays, when done well, it very much can spark joy. Not knowing who the killer is or what direction the narrative will go. Much more so than it just being the most likely suspect more often than not. It's a new generation of gaming. A lot of new players will jump into the series starting with this new entry. So trying new things instead of relying on structure that's become super stale would be ideal for newcomers and would also breathe life into the franchise for veterans of the series. A good Chapter 3 for once, that's not overly convoluted, would be pretty cool as well, and would be nice, because they kinda did my boy Korikyo dirty. Bastards. Humanity is beautiful. For the new game, I of course want there to be good executions. By good, I mean horrifically violent and super brutal, Saw-type executions, because 1, those are always the best. 2, I'm a horrible person. You guys already know this though. There is a reason why V3's executions are considered some of the best in the series. The best executions are the ones where you can suspend your disbelief and quote-unquote enjoy it while feeling all the despair, instead of watching it and rather than profound sadness, your reaction is mostly just questioning what the hell is even going on. As the closing point of each chapter, it has to leave you feeling some sort of emotional impact. A character you love dying with a meh execution can still be sad, but an amazing execution just makes the experience all the more memorable. The more violent, the better. The more mondo, the butter. The more soul-crushing, the better. I like violence and death. I'm not particularly picky when it comes to a potential setting. I'm fine if they choose to return to Hope's Peak or a school environment in general, but going for a setting in new uncharted territory, you know, where you got a situation stuck in a new location without any explanation and no time for relaxation, always has the potential to be even more interesting than just repeating a school environment once more. Jabbercock Island was fun and still felt isolated. It had its own identity and also scenarios that could only be done on a tropical island. Some new ideas for possible settings I'll throw out include, like, a prison, a European castle / like a dungeon, the DMV, Kumon, a hotel, a ship, a facility somewhere in the desert in Nevada, the moon, Kokichi's Minecraft server, a gangster's paradise, Florida. All good, perfectly valid places that can lead to much despair. Ultimate talents, I'm cool with them repeating if need be. You know, lucky student, question mark, detective, etc. It's a new game, new characters, new ways to utilize each talent. When it comes to new talents though, the one that I really want them to use, that for whatever reason they still just have not touched whatsoever, is Ultimate Actor. I would like for them to finally, you know, dip their toes into the thespian arts. For some reason, we have 3 different music girls, and also like a gajillion different athletes, and yet no actors, voice actors, theater kids, just nothing in the acting department whatsoever is represented in a mainline Danganronpa game. So many fan games have an ultimate actor character because, again, for whatever reason, the series wants to completely avoid this title. Kodaka is not in thespians with the art of drama.
I wasn't vegan. Milk and eggs, bitch.
It really is just baffling how it hasn't happened at this point. Did Hamilton scar Kodaka in an emotional way? It's like how Pokemon took forever to have like a legitimate dark gym, right? So, as someone with a voice acting and theater background, it definitely is a niche I would like to see fulfilled. Did Minecraft gacha projects on Casting Call scar Kodaka in an emotional way? People have been asking for and are yearning for another female protagonist. And yeah, I'd be down as well. I really enjoyed Kaede and Komaru, even though they played us like a damn fiddle with the former. I liked how they were headstrong, not spineless like Saihara, you know, they wouldn't take the other character's abuse. That's why I enjoyed snarky old Hajime also. And they were also more than just a blank slate, unlike Makoto Naegi, Komaru's brother. People should just start calling Makoto Komaru's brother, like Baruto's dad. Yeah, that'd be funny. The character's gender / what they identify as is not the most salient factor for me. I want the new main character to be an interesting 3-dimensional and all that character first and foremost. But for sure, a new female MC with a similar or wildly different demeanor from the previous 2 has potential and would be interesting to see play out. Hopefully they don't go overboard with fan service if it comes to fruition, but yeah, what am I even talking about? 1, it's Danganronpa, 2, it's a Japanese game. Gotta sell all them teddy figurines. If Uchikoshi was helming it though, yeah, that'd be fan service ahoy. I'm cool with whatever happens. I'm really not picky, like I said. I just want a new fucking game. Give me the game. Anyway. Another sin of murder mystery games I want them to avoid for sure is just, I don't want there to be any super obvious killers this time around. Press F for Korkadork Shinguchi, yet again. There's nothing else that really needs to be said. When you make a killer super obvious, just kind of takes away most of the enjoyability of like the mystery, you know? So just, let's not do that. Danganronpa 1 is guilty of this. Danganronpa 1 is baby's first killing game. All in all, minimal hand-holding throughout the game would be very much appreciated.
Subscribe to KGOKev. Nailed it.
I would definitely like more variations in character types, like body types, looks, archetypes, all those kinds of things, you know? Danganronpa is cool because you have these characters from all different art styles. Like, they look like they come from like all different animes, and they all come together, and they all feel like they do fit within the same universe, right? Danganronpa exudes crazy, chaotic energy. Like, it feels like nothing would be too ridiculous for Danganronpa design-wise. Well, some of the beta designs are debatable. They escalate the characters' personalities in terms of how ridiculous, animated, and overall avant-garde they are, and their designs as well definitely have become more vibrant with each new entry. Though they do still play it safe to a point, where there's some like same face syndrome going on. Majority of the characters are atypically, conventionally attractive, good-looking, cutesy, you know, all these things. Especially in, well, just mostly on the girl side of things. Like, they only make like the boys look super weird, like oftentimes, you know what I mean? Like, they have Hifumi, Teruteru, Ryoma. You don't really see that in like the female side of things. Like, I mean, of course you have Sakura, but like, Sakura's awesome. Ideally, they'd be able to go for more unusual, unorthodox designs, representing many different body types going even further beyond, while still making the characters look eye-catching and, of course, aesthetically appealing for cosplaying and Hifumi titty figurine purposes. In terms of the cast as well, and like just the cast's overall size, honestly, I would be perfectly fine if they decided to truncate the cast down to a smaller amount of characters. Usually the cast are super bloated, to where a lot of characters don't get a lot of focus, and are like very one note in terms of personality, and like not as interesting as they could be. And it's lopsided to the point where like only a few get to be fleshed out and actually have impact on the course of the plot, or it just becomes the Kokichi Oma show. That's what's really enjoyable about games like Your Turn to Die and Zero Escape, the fact that those games' cast sizes are way smaller. It allows for each individual character to have more development and just more focus overall. Which is why, yeah, it might be beneficial for Danganronpa to follow suit. 16 is of course the number that they've always gone with, but yeah, just smaller size overall might help just make the characters more compelling. The next cast will most likely, of course, be all teenagers, but I'd like to see them maybe incorporate an adult or a teacher participant in the killing game as well. Possibly even as the protagonist, with everyone else being like their former students or something. What about Magic School Bus killing Harmony? Just having an adult present who can be a voice of authority or reason, or otherwise opens up a lot of possibilities, and the abilities for fun student versus teacher or like mentor and student type dynamics. I streamed Birth Me Code recently, and that game had a teacher character, and of course there's Mishima from Your Turn to Die, who has his connection with his student Nawagokuro. So yeah, something like those two examples could definitely work out. Love Mishima. All my homies love Mishima. Having an older all-around cast could be great as well. The series is 10 years old, and for myself and a lot of older fans, we grew up with the series. Having a new game with like relatable adults or college kids or just varying ages overall could be lots of fun. An idea for a Danganronpa spin-off I'll throw out there is one that's set in an alternate universe basically, that brings back previous victims and killers from each game, aka the losers, and gives them a second chance. Call it Danganronpa If. Wait, It's kind of like say Hell's Kitchen, where in recent seasons they brought back old contestants and gave them another shot. They brought back a lot of fan favorites, and they were able to show their skills this time around, and with things being different, it gives them the chance to win big, since they weren't able to before. This Teruteru is fucking dry! Whether the characters would retain knowledge of their deaths in canon to become aware of how to avoid it from happening a second time is a definite possibility as well. A lot of characters got wasted, and could have done so much more, so bringing them back for a round 2 would be able to flesh out characters like Leon, Mahiru, Ryoma, etc. Just giving them all a chance to Kimi ga shine. I love thinking about stuff like the butterfly effect, where things change drastically if one altered minute details or, just from like one or two elements. So for this, like, roles could all get swapped around based on the circumstances. Former victims could become killers or survive kind of idea. People love the characters, and depending on motives / like the game state, we could have, say, like Mondo and Taka becoming bros again, or just staying abrasive to each other. Not to mention seeing characters who've never interacted canonically butting heads in a killing game setting. Imagine a killing game with Nagato and Kokichi, potentially forging new rivalries and making everyone's fanfictions come true. The tone of it could be really self-aware, and they could frame it as like a parody of the main series or something. So yeah, it could definitely be pretty cool. I know y'all still want that DR go-karting though. So for this new game as well, I can honestly see it becoming like a soft reboot for the series. Call the main character Nakoto Maegi anyway. Because of V3's ending, it really does make it hard to continue from that, where that game ends in that continuity. Making a prequel on V2, aka Rantaro Mami's killing game, is okay, but it isn't entirely necessary since we already know the outcome. And it'd be a better decision to tell a new story entirely. Because of how much Danganronpa has exploded in popularity in 2020 because of, TikTok, influencers, let's players, people like freaking Terry Crews playing Danganronpa because this is the craziest goddamn timeline. With Danganronpa having gone mainstream, and there being both a new generation of Danganronpa kids and inevitable newcomers who will jump into the next entry based on name recognition alone, for those people, and as a person who's been with the series since the very beginning, I personally would want a new game to stand on its own and form its own identity, with minimal connection to the previous entries. Like, maybe no connection to Hope's Peak, Future Foundation, maybe even like the main overarching ideas of Hope and Despair, or just any of the events that came before. Monokuma, of course, needs to be in it though. You of course gotta have the mascot. The occasional reference or allusion to a previous character is fine. I don't want the series to stagnate by becoming complacent by relying on nostalgia to carry it through. Or, for example, do what the new Star Wars movies did, where they undermined the happy ending and events of the original trilogy by basically saying everything those original characters went through did not matter. They barely affected or made a dent in the evil empire at all. And also, all the old characters that return in this new trilogy either suck or just die. Like, imagine something like that happening after the events of the DR3 anime, you know, just to be able to continue. That would be really dumb. It'd be best to be kind of like Persona or Final Fantasy, where they're for the most part standalone stories with some occasional references to, past entries. And definitely do not make it a requirement to have played or have knowledge of past games to understand a lot of things that happen in the next Danganronpa. Shoutouts to V3's ending. Got him again. Okay. Gameplay-wise, the games have only gotten better and more streamlined. In terms of murders and the overall plot, I'd like to see how they can make things fresh again, and not rely on the same tired tropes and setups over and over. Hashtag not another goddamn double murder again. And of course, with all this in mind, this might be a little controversial, but I'm definitely not alone in feeling this way. I do not want Junko Inashima to return yet again. No Junko for the next Danganronpa, despite her obvious popularity, which would generate guaranteed interest, and yeah, she'll be in the fucking game no matter what I say. No matter what I fucking say. It's all good if you're a fan of her. I'm personally just really sick of her. Her first appearance was great, but everyone after is super mixed. She's worse than Ganondorf at hijacking the villain spot. Not having her or her influence for once, and it being someone else would be nice going forward, and would tie everything together that I've previously brought up on having it be an all-new Danganronpa standing on its own for the next generation. It would be cool to see what it can do going forward, rather than constantly looking back and relying on things that worked before and playing it safe. Just bottom line. There's a lot of potential in a new game, and I really want to see what they can do with it, and hopefully, whatever they do, they end up doing it well. Alright, y'all, with that, it's about time we wrap things up. Like I said, these are just a couple of my hopes that I wanted for the next Danganronpa. I kept it shorter than I would have liked, but I mean, hey, if you want a 9-hour video, maybe that'll be for another time. Play Zero Escape. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below about any of the things that I've discussed, how the news of a new Dangan makes it feel, and what you personally would like to see in a potential new game. If you had fun with this video, remember to like it as well, share it with your friends, click the subscribe button! With all that said, this is KGOKev signing out. Remember to stay hydrated, remember to stay chill, and I'll see you guys hopefully in my next video. Take care.